This is your home of independent, fearless, credible, and impactful journalism. Good evening and welcome to Johnny's Prime. I'm Ernest Mino. In our headlines tonight, expect the fourth wave of COVID-19 infections in Ghana and other African countries. Warning from the World Health Organization as the appeals to wealthy nations to immediately share their surplus vaccines with Africa.
What we know is that very likely there will be cases going up again. At the moment, cases are going down in most countries, but we see them going up in some other countries as well at the same time.
We'll speak to a virologist about this warning. Also tonight, police in Kaswa arrest a gay couple after one allegedly stabbed his partner for cheating on him. We'll bring you details as the Presbyterian Church joins other Christian organizations to demand an immediate passage of the bill. Also tonight, governing New Patriotic Party vows to maintain power come 2024 as it galvanizes support from its grassroots.
I don't care who becomes national chairman. I don't care who becomes flag bearer. What I care is that the MPP continues to rule in this country. Power!
We have details from the Greater Accra Regional Delegates Conference underway in the capital in business.
As fuel prices set to go up by 7% this weekend, the Chamber of Agribusiness calls for fuel subsidies for farmers, warning food prices would continue to shoot up.
This is the right time to start looking at how we can subsidize fuel for agricultural productivity in Ghana. We do that for aquaculture, but we don't do that for the crop farming.
Charles Aito will bring us details. Johnny's Prime is coming to you live from our studios at Fanofa here at Kokomlemle in Accra. We are digital TV because we are free to air. DSTV channel 421, Go TV 144. Stay tuned.
What's up, guys? My name is Sammy FORSON, host of the Weekend City Show and Ignition right here on Joy 99.7 FM. Well, anytime you happen to be busy and you miss out on your favorite shows right here on Joy FM, here's what you can do. Log on to myjoyonline.com/podcast. Just go on there and you'll find all your shows on demand 24/7. There you can catch up. Remember, Joy FM remains your radio for discerning listeners.
Many thanks for joining us. Now, Ghana has so far expended over 10 billion cedis on the fight against COVID-19. In the last 8 months of 2020, Ghana's COVID-19 expenditure summed up to 8.1 billion cedis. Now, from January to June this year, an additional 2.3 billion cedis was spent. The World Health Organization in Africa is warning of a possible fourth wave in COVID-19 infections across the continent. The organization says the mass movements of people coupled with the unavailability of vaccines could be a huge driver in the expected spike in cases. It adds that only about 4.9% of Africans are fully vaccinated, leaving a majority of the continent's population very vulnerable. Dr. Machidosu Moeti is Regional Director of the World Health Organization Regional Office for Africa. She spoke at a media press briefing Thursday.
What we know is that very likely there will be cases going up again. At the moment, cases are going down in most countries, but we see them going up in some other countries as well at the same time. So I think we cannot say that the pandemic is disappearing, not by any means. And as I said in my remarks, we can probably anticipate that there'll be a wave of cases going up at the end of the year, because that's when people have a break for the festive season. They go home, they gather and travel. And as the situation where we are now, with the level of vaccination relatively low, and the situation also of the fact that in many places, people are tired of the prevention measures. You know, there is a need to re-engage them on sustaining the use of masks when you are going to be in contact with people, keeping a distance, those public health measures that we have talked about many times. So that combination of factors, we believe, and the fact that there are variants emerging all the time, and some of the variants we have seen are more liable are more infectious, if you like. One person can infect more people than others. So as long as we are in a situation where the vaccination rates are relatively low, public health measures, preventive measures are needing to be reinforced. Things like this community-based testing using rapid diagnostic tests. So I believe we increasingly have the tools at our disposal, and this initiative we're talking about today will be a very important possible way of preventing or being able to contain an upward surge that we're absolutely expecting towards the end of the year during the course of the festive season. So we're not at all seeing the pandemic disappearing, and we must work very hard to get the vaccination rates up, very hard to get our knowledge at the local level of where the virus is circulating, and then to reinforce the prevention measures.
So that is the World Health Organization's warning there. We're joined on Zoom by Dr. Michael Owusu, a virologist with the Kumasi Center for Collaborative Research in Tropical Medicine, and he joins us. Dr. Michael Owusu, thank you very much for joining us here on Newsnight. First of all, let's start with the warning from the WHO about the fourth wave, which we're likely to see going to the end of the year. What is your take on that?
Yeah, good evening to you, and good evening to all your viewers. So this is a possibility that public health experts, epidemiologists, virologists all think that it's something that you cannot rule out. Because if you look at the nature of the virus, we are not done with it yet. As you already know, every wave is accounted for by the strain of the virus. We have experienced this Delta variant across the world. As we speak now, it looks as if the Delta variant has reached a point of saturation. So it is no more able to cause massive infections across. But then as the strength of this Delta variant begins to weigh down, it is possible it may lead to re-emergence of another strain altogether, which may have the capacity to cause a fourth wave. So this is in theory. It is something that you can't prevent. It is likely to happen. Coupled with the fact that the vaccination, as we speak now, rate is quite slow. And the number of people who are fully vaccinated is low.
Indeed.
Not only, but in many African countries. So, once you are not catching up with the level of vaccination, what it means is that the virus has more susceptible populations to infect, to mutate, and to do whatever it wants to do. So I think it's a big challenge to many African countries, which the WHO, I believe, is warning that if things continue to stay as they are in the African continent, then it is very possible that by the time we get through Christmas and many activities begin to interact, people are doing their own things. These activities may likely contribute to a fourth wave, like what we saw happen in last Christmas before this third wave.
So like you rightly said, and like the WHO, Dr. Moeti also pointed, two major things may be attributed to this: the slow drive in vaccination, and also the fact that there are mutations going on every now and then. You realize that many people, and we brought a report from Kumasi last week where the health authorities are worried about the slow rate of vaccination. People are not showing up for the second jabs anymore. This was just yesterday. How dire could a fourth wave be, seeing that the slow rate of vaccination may be as a result of the reduced death, as it were, that we are seeing right now?
Yes, exactly. People are maybe quite tired. Others also feel that, well, enough is enough. Whatever happens should happen. So, across the country, the fear for the virus is almost gone, and everybody feels everything is fine. And this is what mostly puts us in trouble. So, once you don't have people much eager and willing to take the full dose of vaccine, then of course, it's going to pose a challenge. But like other countries are doing, perhaps it may have to be mandatory at a point in time. If people are reluctant to take the vaccines, then you will expect government to come in and begin to enforce in a way to say that if you don't take a vaccine, you cannot engage in some activities, or you have to be tested for some number of times the countries in France and many other European countries are doing. Because, I mean, if we don't do this, what it means is that all of us may be affected. I mean, I have taken my vaccine, but if somebody doesn't take the vaccine, the person may contribute to transmission. It will put all of us back to another wave of infections that may cause so much havoc to all of us. I mean, talking of how the fourth wave will be like, I mean, every wave, the strength of every wave is almost 50 to 80% much stronger. Okay. I mean, the previous one. So in terms of severity of disease, number of infections, and the likelihood of death is likely to increase because the virus come up, I mean, with an additional strength. And that is how they behave. They need much stronger capacity to be able to, cause that kind of infections across board. So we always have to work to the point where we don't want it to even happen, not to think of what it's going to do. So we need to appeal to the population to, as much as they can, take the vaccines. The vaccines are highly available, but the government does its best to bring out these vaccines, that we have to ensure that we patronize these vaccines, take it and protect ourselves and also protect other people.
Dr. Usu, kindly hold the line for me. We just want to find out what our COVID-19 dashboard is looking like. You're talking about helping people understand what the situation is. And so we just pulled this up to bring this into perspective. And so these are the total number of cases recorded so far since February 2020 till now, October 7, we have 128,368 cases so far. These are the cases we've recorded. Now, in terms of the active cases, and this is the wave. So we are seeing 3 waves here. This is the first wave. It went up to about 8,395 cases for the first wave, and this is June 18, 2020. Let's look at the second wave, how this rose during the second wave. So for the second wave, 2021 February, just about a year after we recorded, the case, we had 8,216 COVID-19 infections. This was for the second wave of COVID-19. Let's now look at the third wave of COVID-19 cases. And the third wave, the peak was 7,511 cases. This is September 2021, which is the wave in which we are now. And so that is what it has been so far. And so for our active cases now, we have 2,696 currently, people who are currently infected with COVID-19. And the total death, and I think this is very important, Dr. Wusu, as we look at this, we have 1,158 people who have died so far as a result of COVID-19 from February all the way to the October 7, 2021. So that is what the dashboard is looking like right now. Dr. Wusu, the World Health Organization again says that it is going to roll out a program that will help African countries increase their testing capacity. Do we need that right now?
Yes, if you follow what the WHO is saying, if you have to look at the benchmark that they have set, that we need to at least have close to about 10 to 100 tests for every 10,000 populations, and over 20 countries in Africa are not reaching that benchmark. It's because we also depend on the PCR for testing. Okay. But the WHO, through many other organizations, have conducted evaluation studies on a number of rapid diagnostic test kits, which are performing very well. Most of them have sensitivity almost equivalent to the PCR. So the plan for WHO is to roll out these rapid diagnostic test kits in places that could likely be experiencing outbreaks, large pandemics at particular hotspots. What it means is that you don't need to take swabs to labs to do PCR, okay. But the doctors, nurses, and even yourself, you can perform your own antigen tests and then find out your status. By doing this, you'll be able to predict possible fourth waves or maybe waves that are to come even before they happen. Because of the low testing capacity, it's difficult to predict. We are always caught up in the wave. Mm-hmm. But ideally, if we are to do consistent testing in different populations at different point in time, we can tell whether cases are rising or not. So to be able to meet the benchmark for WHO believes that this RD tickets is going to at least boost testing capacity by about 40% and enable many African countries to be able to meet the benchmark target. And I think this is very good for us as a country. I mean, Ghana has an antigen antibody testing policy, and I think that this is not something new. Once WHO rolls this out, I believe the ministry will collaborate together to make this available as much as possible for anybody at all. I mean, to be able to test yourself, know your status, and then at least visit the hospital if you feel that you are sick. I think it's something that achievable, and we need to encourage them to do.
Well, we'll see how this pans out. Thank you very much. That's Dr. Michael Owusu, a virologist at the KCCR, joining us on the latest development on COVID-19. Away from health, police in Kaswa have arrested 2 men, allegedly a gay couple, after one inflicted cutlass wounds on his partner for allegedly cheating. The Kaswa New Market Police have identified the 2 men as Prince, 22, and Evans, 23. The Joy News understands the stabbing incident happened after Prince found out that his partner Evans had a girlfriend. Police sources say the 2 men work in a restaurant at the Kaswa New Market. In an interview with Adum News, one of the workers who witnessed the incident revealed that Prince's anger stemmed from the fact that Evans had consistently denied him sex. Well, tonight, the Presbyterian Church is the latest Christian organization to publicly express support for proper human rights, Human Sexual and Ghanaian Family Value Bills 2021. The church is urging Parliament to pass the bill. We'll hear from them shortly. But first, listen to the chairman of the Constitutional Legal Affairs Committee, Kwame Anyimedu Entry, a Presbyterian himself, roped in the church when he spoke about international best practices. He spoke on the Pro with MFR Pao. Listen.
Apart from going through the processes in Parliament, which our rules stipulate, we also have to learn from best practices. If we have to actually get, for instance, I know there are some countries that have actually passed similar bills into law. We need to listen to them and learn from such processes. We also know that there are some countries that legally have given right to, for instance, the church, Presbyterian Church. I will use this as an example. I'm a Presbyterian. Quite recently, they said that the Presbyterian Church of America, they have severed a relationship with them because their law was amended to say that a marriage is between 2 people, instead of saying a marriage is between one man and a woman. So they actually said that we are we've severed our relationship with the American Presbyterian Church. Yeah. So the Ghanaian pastors that were working with the Presbyterian Church of America had a problem. They called them all names. They are gay people. They are this. They are this. But they still, the pastors that are saying that you are against that, you are against that, then the America as a country had actually decided that we are going to allow these people, it is their right. But the pastors that say that let's sever our relationship with the Presbyterian Church of America still travel to America as a country.
How is that?
To me, if you
How is that an excuse? How is that a reason that you can give? Because
it's a reason, because if you are saying that the church had done it and that you don't want to have anything to do with them,
the church says a man and a man can get married. But here in Ghana, the Presbyterian Church is saying we cannot do same, even though America is doing same.
Right.
So,
no, it doesn't mean that. If I'm a pastor and I believe in my Christianity, I have to follow gay. I'm married, I'm with children. I'm never going to be gay. I have never been there. But the issue that there are 2 sides that listen to the minority. And so we would have to travel within the country as well we would have to actually, if possible, and if the Speaker agrees with the committee, we'll make the proposal that, well, we'd want to visit a couple of countries to actually go into this.
Well, the Presby Church has expressed concern with the comments of the chairman. We'll bring you that interview once we get them. But the Minority Chief Whip, Muntaka Mubarak, has served notice. His side will stage demonstrations and force the closure of diplomatic missions operating in Ghana that victimize MPs opposed to the activities of LGBTQ. Now, this comes on the back of threats by some embassies that they will deny visas to MPs supporting the bill. Speaking on Kumasi-based radio station Ebusia FM, the Asawasi MP condemned the threats and warned no amount of intimidation will stop Parliament from passing the bill.
Say any embassy that uses this specifically, say because of we say be a Sam George, we will organize a demonstration to close that embassy.
Hey.
Yes. You can't come and impose your culture. Yes. You can't come and impose your culture on us. If you would tell us, say, the reason why you won't give Sam George, you won't give honorable this, honorable that, because when him say Ghana Constitution, say me as a member of Parliament, the American will floor no biano. You can't hold me responsible anywhere. So if you want to use that, then you cannot be in our country. We will have to demonstrate until the foreign ministry closes down that embassy. You can't come and sit in our country and do what you want. We are not forcing you say, but you won't mean share so. But also, what I say, members of Parliament from our country cannot visit your country. We will also ensure that nobody from your country can visit our country. That's why I like Nigeria. Nigeria is very, very emphatic about that. You put a sanction, they put similar. We are sending notice to our foreign ministry. Be ready. Anybody, any embassy that thinks they can use this as a way of threatening any of our members of Parliament, our foreign ministry will insist that embassy leaves, shut down and leaves.
I see.
Or the same measure should be put. So, okay, say you will not allow Ghanaians to go there because of the law I pass here. We shouldn't allow any of their citizens to also come to our country.
On his part, Majority Leader Osei Mensah Bonsu urged interest groups to offer constructive inputs devoid of emotions and threat. He told Evans Mensah on PM Express only a frank discussion will get the best out of the bill.
Ghanaians have our own unique upbringing, our own set of values. You know what is right and what is wrong. We distinguish what is right from what is wrong. So we know what is right by our own upbringing. I belong to the Assemblies of God Church. I'm a Christian. I will not pretend that my upbringing has not been impacted by Christianity. Equally so for my colleagues who are Muslims. They come from various ethnic backgrounds and brought up traditionally and culturally within the context of Ghanaian upbringing. So we know what is right and we know what is wrong. And I'm not too sure that I know of any ethnic group in this country that applauds what discussion is going on. But unfortunately, we are introducing into this discourse emotions and sentiments, which I think is very much unnecessary.
The Minority Leader, Harry Nigerius, who has been speaking to MFR Pao about the processes to protect MPs, especially those behind the bill, he also questions the intention of those who say this bill must not be passed.
We stand opposed to LGBTQI plus rights in Ghana. It is a moral imperative that the Parliament of Ghana stands together in fighting the introduction of those rights, as it will erode the respectability of our societal moral fabrics, our cultural values, and more importantly, to encourage the courageous members of Parliament led by Sam George and his colleagues, and to all those who share that value. It will be a watershed decision for the Parliament of Ghana. Don't forget that Parliament represents itself. We represent the electorate, and we have a standard of care and a standard duty to reflect the aspirations of the Ghanaian people. Can you imagine tomorrow those activists seeking the promotion of LGBTQI rights, asking for restrooms, men in women's restrooms and women in males' restrooms. Can you imagine what that will mean for our society? And I think that it's important that we appreciate that in the process of lawmaking, inputs can be solicited and inputs can be sent to the committee appropriately dealing with this subject matter, and those inputs will guide final decisions on this matter.
Now, on the state of play, participants are saying if the church is coming in based on morality, then there are lots of immoral issues in the country which have not been attended to by the church. Therefore, they should not put themselves into the situation. Listen to them speak today on the state of play.
It's dangerous for the church to enter into party politics. So let's look at it for this point. Are we going to say that it is a precedent that henceforth any bill that Parliament will pass, that is to the interest of the church should come in? Is that the precedent you want them to set? We are saying that the church is taking a stand, and the church is coming in based on morality. There are other issues of morality in this country, such as corruption, but the church has not come in as at this time. So my question once again is, if this is what they are doing, the precedent will now be that any issue of interest to the church and Parliament want to pass a bill on it, the church should come in. It won't be very, very heady to party politics in this country. That is what I'm saying, and that is why I stand.
Evans Mensah disagrees with the Pentecost chairman threatening members of parliament with votes if they refuse to pass the bill. He further said that the chairman's statement is not realistic because 75% Christians cannot vote for a party on condition of passing the anti-gay bill. Rather, they should find a different way of lobbying for this to be passed. Raymond, on the other side, said that 95% of the youth are with the Church of Pentecost and therefore the chairman's statement can influence them. He said the churches can also have their voices on the matter on their matter head because they are also citizens.
Head who made this pronouncement. Because he stands on the people and says, we are church members, vote against party A. That assumption that all X million members will follow like zombies and just go and vote. It's not only an assumption. Wait. You know that's not realistic. So, that will not happen. In 2024, the only issue. No. Wait. Please. That's what it is. The only issue that will determine who they vote for. And if that's the case, then they will decide who wins elections. But they're saying the only issue that will determine that is the passage or otherwise of the anti-gay bill. My disagreement is with the holding the gun to the heads of the members of parliament and saying, if you don't vote, I'll fire.
They're not alone. Have you read the CDD service? They are with the support of 80-90% of this republic.
But here's my point.
They are not in the minority in this case. They are in the majority.
You're telling me.
This is democracy.
You're telling me.
Democracy is fed by the majoritarian rule.
And State of Play is on social media. It's our politically incorrect show. You want to join us every Thursday at 2:30 p.m. Now, the Central Regional Communications Officer of the National Democratic Congress, Kwesi Dawood, has been remanded into police custody by a circuit court in Cape Coast. Mr. Dawood has been accused of having sex with his biological daughter when she was 15 years old. Mr. Dawood was granted a 30,000 bail with 2 sureties on Wednesday, October 13. This was on the charge of aborting the pregnancy of her daughter. Richard Kojinyako joins us with more on this.
Presenting the facts of the case, Prosecutor Chief Inspector Daniel Mensah stated the biological daughter of Kwesi Dawood was feeling unwell while in school and confided in her school counselor the ordeal she's been going through in the hands of her father. The matter was subsequently relayed to the mother of the victim, who reported the matter to the Swedru police. Mr. Dawood has been accused of having sex with a daughter in 2019 when the daughter was 15 years old. He's also been accused of aborting the pregnancy he was responsible of, and in concert with one Atta Mensah, his colleague at the NADMO office at Aguna Swedru, aborted the pregnancy in 2020. Kwesi Dawood, according to the prosecutor, subjected the daughter to severe beatings such that the victim had to run to seek refuge with her grandmother. The police prosecutor read in court. The daughter is said to be undergoing treatment as it was reported Mr. Dawood stepped on her abdomen, leading to serious injuries to her ribs. The accused pleaded not guilty to all the 3 charges, the charge of defilement, incest, and assault. Lawyer for the accused argued, citing decisions of the court, that a bail ought not to be used as punishment. The wishes of the lawyer were not granted as the presiding judge, Dorinda Atta-Smith, remanded the accused into police custody to reappear on the 27th of October. On Wednesday, Mr. Dawood was also granted bail for an illegal abortion, a pregnancy her daughter said he was responsible of. Reporting for Joy News, Richard Kwejo-Nyakon, Cape Coast.
Richard joins us on Zoom. Richard, we know that the NDC in the Central Region suspended him, but there's a development on the party's decision. Bring us details.
Well, so what the party, the Functional Executive Committee of the party indicated is that they have cancelled the suspension that was handed to Mr. Dawood by the Central Regional Executive Committee. And so that is that they said that what they did was to predetermine or prejudge the matter. And so they have cancelled it. They are waiting for the final determination of this matter at the court before any final decision would be taken by the National Party. And so Mr. Dawood, as we speak, is still the Regional Communications Officer of the National Democratic Congress.
Thank you very much. That's Central Region correspondent Richard Kwejo-Nyakon. And we're doing business after this here on Joy News Prime. Charles Aite is standing by with the very latest. Stay with us.
This is the right time to start looking at how we can subsidize fuel for agriculture productivity in Ghana. We do that for aquaculture, but we don't do that for the crop farming.
Hello, I'm Dori Nando. You can catch up with all the fun on the Cosmopolitan Mix and on all our shows via podcast. Just go to My Joy Online podcast and search for your favorite show and relive those moments all over again. Only on Joy 99.7 FM, radio for discerning listeners.
Super Hits Radio, Joy 99.7.
And it's time for business with me, Charles Aite. The Chamber of Agribusiness Ghana is calling for subsidized fuel prices for farmers. According to its Chief Executive, Anthony Morrison, the increasing cost of fuel is one of the major factors driving the cost of food inflation. Fuel prices are set to go up by 7%. Meanwhile, the month of September also recorded the highest inflation rate of 10.6% since the economy started picking up from the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. Speaking to Joy Business early on the marketplace, Mr. Morrison says the country should not expect any bumper harvest the rest of the year if government does not subsidize fuel prices.
We are not expecting any major bumper harvest. Let me state that clearly, so that consumers across board will begin to take measures and find strategic ways to conserve food, especially if food waste is picking up. Food losses
so that's your word against that of the Agri Minister. But let's also deal with the supply chain matters, the cost of fuel and also the cost of port charges and all. How is this going to be much more of a challenge, especially when we've also seen government have some interventions regarding the cost of petrol prices in the coming weeks?
Well, this is the right time to start looking at how we can subsidize fuel for agriculture productivity in Ghana. We do that for aquaculture, but we don't do that for the crop farming. This is the time we need to start looking at how we can make intervention and bring some policies that will have a major impact on productivity. Because currently it costs almost about 200 cedis to do an acre or to plow or prepare an acre of farmland. And it used to be 120, 150. That should tell you that there is an increase of more than 30%. So we need to start looking at it if we are to increase and to provide the necessary food security to this country. We need to subsidize agriculture fuel subsidies or bring on board some what I refer to as the agriculture social intervention, so that farmers will be able to produce their produce on time, because sometimes we do not even have the fuel to even fuel the limited available tractors that we have on our farms.
All right.
So these are all the issues we need to be looking at.
Now, the Bank of Ghana is warning the public to be wary of a money doubling scheme operating in Ghana under the pseudonym World Remit. According to the Bank of Ghana, the scheme is fraudulent and does not reward investors as promised. We have more in this report.
According to the central bank, this fraudulent scheme is distinct from the globally renowned fintech World Remit, which is in the business of international fund transfers. This scheme encourages customers to select preferred packages, following which a code is generated by the fraudsters, with which they obtain the WhatsApp account of their victims for spurious purposes. The Bank of Ghana cautions against patronage of this and other similar unsanctioned schemes, adding it has not licensed any entity or individual engaged in money doubling. It advised the public to verify the licensing status of persons or entities prior to depositing funds with them, as well as place deposits only with institutions licensed by the Bank of Ghana. It also cautioned the public not to participate in this illegal and fraudulent activity to avoid loss of funds, but then added that any individual or entity that participates in such or similar schemes does so at their own peril.
Ghana's fastest growing jackpot money lottery, 787 NLA, has rewarded a shopkeeper from Kumasi in the Ashanti region an amount of 20,000 cedis in the just ended draw 166 held on Saturday. We have more in this report.
Akwesi Owusu, the winner from Kumasi in the Ashanti region, upon receiving the 20,000 cedis prize, shared the prize will be of greater good to his business. Excited Akwesi expressed gratitude to the 787 lottery and urged all to partake in this week's super promising jackpot of 303,500 cedis.
I got message on my phone that I should dial *787 hash. I did it and I followed the instructions. Then they deducted 25 cedis from my mobile money wallet. Later on, I got message that I won 20,000 cedis. I thought it wasn't true. Then I got a phone call from a certain brother that I should. He congratulated me and said I should come to Accra for my money. I thought it wasn't true, so I decided to come and try it. And unfortunately, it's true.
The head of customer experience, Richard Akoto-Banfo, at the event announced *787 hash guarantees an extra 2,000 cedis win for 6 lucky players at a purchase of 3 or more tickets before 12 midnight every Thursday.
As it is done every week, you can stand a chance to take home 20,000 Ghana cedis from *787 hash, or even take home the big jackpot, which is now 303,500 Ghana cedis. With *787 hash, we have the biggest jackpot value. And hey, don't forget that every Tuesday, you could be a part of the 50 people who take home 200 Ghana cedis, and equally on Thursday, be a part of the 6 people who take home 2,000 Ghana cedis. This is on Thursday. All you have to do is to buy 3 tickets. Yes, only 3 tickets, 15 Ghana cedis, and stand a chance to win 2,000 Ghana cedis. All these tickets bought on Tuesday and Thursday, equally from Monday to Saturday, also stand a chance to win the big jackpot, which is 303,500. So what are you waiting for? Just take the chance now. Pick your phone, dial *787 hash, change your life with only a dial, 5 Ghana cedis, and you could be the next person to take home 303,500 Ghana cedis.
Well, that'll be it for business. We have sports coming up. Do stay.
Hello, my name is NATHANIEL, ATTOH. You can catch up with all the fun and inspiration on the Joy Sports link here on Joy 99.7 FM, together with all other shows over and over again. It's very simple. All you need to do is go to myjoyonline.com/podcast and relive all of those fun moments over and over again. Joy 99.7 FM, your radio for discerning listeners.
Joy 99.7.
Welcome to the sports segment with me, Reiko Ampofo. The Ghana Football Association has written to the Ministry of Youth and Sports to notify them that former Black Stars coach Charles Koblan-Akonno is due a compensation package of $50,000 for their decision to terminate his contract. Joy Sports has learned more and put this in the following report.
CK, as the former Asante Kotoko House coach is affectionately called, was sacked on September 13 by the Executive Council of the GFA after Black Stars 1-0 loss to Bafana in the ongoing FIFA World Cup qualifiers. Joy Sports sources within the leadership of the football governing body say AKONNOR is due $50,000 as agreed in his contract. It is unclear if the sports ministry has started processing the severance package, but Joy Sports understands it should be paid within this month. The Ghana FA and CK have exchanged letters following his sacking last month, but the content of the letters is not yet known to Joy Sports. But sources tell us the FA has acknowledged receipt of a letter from AKONNOR. Before the termination of AKONNOR's contract, he was owed about $425,000, but a check of $50,000 representing 2 months of his arrears was signed to be delivered before the national team's trip to South Africa for the second game of the World Cup qualifying series. The letter, however, did not indicate whether the ministry should pay the money or not. Sources tell Joy Sports that even though the check was delivered, it is unclear if it has been picked up by AKONNOR. The sports ministry has taken the initiative of paying AKONNOR 2 months arrears every month to ensure it is cleared within the shortest possible time. Joy Sports understands another check of $50,000 could be ready by the end of this month. If this is processed as planned, 4 months of the former Black Stars skipper outstanding arrears will have been settled. AKONNOR was appointed Ghana coach in January 2020 to succeed Kwesi Appiah and led the Black Stars for 10 matches.
Let's come back to the Ghana Premier League, where Kotoko midfielder Fabio Gama has told Joy Sports he was one of the best players in the 2020-2021 Ghana Premier League season. The 29-year-old Brazilian had a stellar debut season in the Ghana Premier League, scoring 4 goals and providing 6 assists. Gama is happy he has finally found his feet in the domestic top flight.
Yeah, I'm sure that. No, because I am saying that. Because the people are saying that. Because when you are good, the people start say good things. When you are not good, the same thing happens. So I'm saying, not because it's my words, but because all the Ghana is saying that. So we can't lie.
But you, yourself, do you think you are one of the top players in the Ghana Premier League right now?
Yeah, I'm sure that.
Maybe top 2, top 3, top 5, top 10?
Top 1.
Excellent. But, you know, I'm a member of the Ghana Football Awards they did. You saw the posters, right? For the awards they did. And we nominated you as one of the top 8 players for the season. It was so competitive. Actually, let me tell you a story. We actually wanted to nominate only top 3. But when we did the list, we decided to do top 5. And then we did, no, it's not good enough. So we decided to do all the top 8. My point is that this season we had a lot of very, very good players
Of course.
in the Ghana Premier League.
Yeah.
Away from you, you think you are the top 1 or whatever. Which other players do you genuinely think, look, these guys, whether they are in Kotoko or elsewhere?
When I say that, I say because we have many good players, so in Ghana. In my mind, I will be always in the top. So we have a good player. We have Bokier from Wafa.
Augustin Boache.
Yes. We have Salifu Ibrahim, very good. We have the number 10 from Great Olympics.
Gladson Awako.
Yes, so they are very good. We have Ganil from Kotoko, Mudaziru. So we have many good players. It's impossible you choose only 3 or 5 or 10 options because we have too much more than this. You understand?
Well, that's how we wrap up the sports here. You can get the full interview of that Fabio Gama special at 10:30 live here on the Joy News channel. I'll be back for the second segment for sports.
What's up, guys? My name is Sammy FORSON, host of the Weekend City Show and Ignition right here on Joy 99.7 FM. Well, anytime you happen to be busy and you miss out on your favorite shows right here on Joy FM, here's what you can do. Log on to myjoyonline.com/podcast. Just go on there and you'll find all your shows on demand 24/7. There you can catch up. Remember, Joy FM remains your radio for discerning listeners.
Joy 99.7.
And my brother KMJ is here with the very latest in showbiz. How are you doing, bro?
I'm good. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
You look good. I like it.
Thank you. Thank
Great
you
stuff.
very
Fashion.
much. Oh,
That's
look
great.
at you. All right, what do you have for us today?
Anyway, so we're talking about, let me ask you, would you tattoo any of our colleagues here's name on your arm or any part of your body?
Well, I'm not sure I'll tattoo anything or anybody.
Okay.
I'm just not for tattoos.
Okay.
Or let me say I wouldn't tattoo. Like, it's not my
You don't
thing.
like it?
Yeah.
Shatawale is doing the most with that. I mean, he's tattooed medical's initials on his arm.
Wait.
MDK.
Shatawale tattooed what? Medical?
Yeah.
Medical, the rapper.
Initials, yeah, Medical, the rapper.
Are they that close?
They're close. I mean, for the period, they've been very close, tight, and a lot of people think they're faking it. So maybe it's a reason why he had to do this. But Medical also responded to it that he loves him. And, well, let's see how the whole process went on.
Anybody, but the way I'm feeling, people should do contribution. 10 Ghana, 10 Ghana. You can send it to 02444444. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, after this accident, I have said that I won't tell anybody, but the way I'm feeling, people should do contribution. 10 Ghana, 10 Ghana. You can send it to 02444444. Thank you.
All right, so that was not an accident.
Yeah,
that was him going
just
through
joking.
the process for a
He being
tattoo.
the comedy guy that he's always been, but that's the tattoo.
That's what we saw at the end of the video.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
is this a stunt?
It's not. I think that they needed to put the friendship that they have on a different level. And this is it. I mean, Calvin Boy did the same thing with Stonebwoy.
Yeah, with Stonebwoy, but he had to
cleaned
take
it when they had issues and all that. Joby also commented that he did the same. Medical didn't come out to say anything. So he's surprised that he's talking about Shatter's own and not his own. You know?
Okay.
So yeah, it happens. You never can tell.
Well, we wish them well. And we pray that this is would bear fruits and would make the industry better.
I love tattoos, by the way, but let's move on to some more.
Do you have tattoos?
I tried. It was painful. I didn't. I might do it.
Okay. What were you tattooing?
Broken heart.
Okay.
That was when I got broken heart.
That's another story for another day. What more do you have for us?
So let's talk about our own Joy Entertainment's presenter, Lexus Bill. You know he's been in the UK for the Ghana Music Awards.
Yeah. He emceed with
Confidence. Yeah. And he's been going around visiting a couple of people now. So he went to see the Ghana High Commissioner to Britain, and
Papa Uswankuma.
You know, he paid a visit and he praised him for all that he's done and he's been doing for Mother Ghana. So let's check it out.
Yes, Lexus Bill.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I'm honored. I'm honored to see you because as for your voice, I mean, so when Doji says that's Lexus Bill, you know, that's wow, I'm truly honored. You are behind the mark. You are another thing. Oh, that's great. No, you're doing well. Keep it up. Keep it up. I mean, look, I'm saying that our country is great. And I'm praying to God that I will even have another 20 years of life to see how the country will be. But you guys make a difference. I mean, country, you are here. Look, Ghana is highly respected.
All right, so that's the Papa Uswankuma.
Yeah, we should make a difference.
Yeah.
I like that part.
And I mean, Lexus is amazing, fantastic presenter by all standards.
Yes, that is, he's staying for too long. He should come back. We'll miss him.
Well, I'm interested in what he brings. So, Lexus, if you're watching us,
he's got a few things, but the wife will definitely come up first. We'll be on the other side.
Oh, of course, definitely. I know what I want.
Okay.
And I know my space.
What do you want?
Oh, he knows. Kwame, you know. So just deliver. Thank you very much.
All right, that'll be all for today, by the way.
All right,
Great.
Thank you very much. And that's all for Showbiz. We have more stories for you after this break.
What's up, guys? My name is Sammy FORSON, host of the Weekend City Show and Ignition right here on Joy 99.7 FM. Well, anytime you happen to be busy and you miss out on your favorite shows right here on Joy FM, here's what you can do. Log on to myjoyonline.com/podcast. Just go on there and you'll find all your shows on demand 24/7. There you can catch up. Remember, Joy FM remains your radio for discerning listeners.
Thanks for staying with us here on Joy News Prime. We are not handing over power to the opposition NDC today or tomorrow. That's according to the Director of Operations at the Presidency, Lord Comey. Mr. Comey, who spoke on behalf of the President at the Greater Accra Regional Delegates Conference, observed that President Akufo-Addo is incensed over the pettiness and internal bickering which led to the loss of parliamentary seat in the 2020 elections. He added that the President is interested in handing over power to an NPP candidate and not the opposition NDC. Listen to him charge the supporters to work to ensure the party retains power in 2024.
When ex-President J.J. Rawlings, the Western world was putting pressure on him. It is time to hand over to a democratic rule in Ghana. He says, hand over to whom? And I'm Refiana. There was a certain first lady in this country who is still alive. At a point, he told us openly, plain language, was say MPP for Yanko Kumasi magazine, na Yanko Shishebi, and Fama J. Kufuor, Mantiana. It tells you that what you call power. Hey, me say adia your friend to me. Say nyame wa dum na se wo som say na se wan som ya adia be ye wo no me say adia be ye wo no me say I don't care who becomes national chairman, I don't care who becomes flag bearer. What I care is that the MPP continues to rule in this country. Power. Yenimbre. It's the pettiness. And some who here and talk on who. When you be so unyashi, and the MBO now was open. Never again, Mr. Chairman, is what we should resolve leaving this conference this afternoon. Never again that this thing would ever happen to the New Patriotic Party. Charge you. Break the earth, break the earth, break the earth. Adani slogan. Me am Jina Hedi. So far as I live, me dem mean break it biao. To me no, me say me mfa ma wo mo ne, me mfa ma wo mo china. Me ne et bia me break it. Me twaso, me say me yadai. Catch the wound and say twaso yadai. Member break it bia. As if there is something indeed to break. We have the power. What is left is for us to sustain the power. We have a president who now says, I would hand over to the next MPP presidential candidate as president of the Republic of Ghana.
Well, Lord Comey has been explaining his comment. According to him, the charge is for supporters to work to ensure the party retains power constitutionally come 2024.
What is undemocratic about it?
You want to hold on to power at all costs?
Of course, but power, if you have power, why do you want to give it out?
So the MPP want to hold on to power at all
costs? Of course, it's not at all costs. Okay, first of all, you should understand that I am addressing the party officers, right, and they are the movers and shakers of our party at the grassroots level. They can't make a mistake out of their own pettiness, out of anger, out of laziness, out of whatever vices that could put them together towards holding on to power. Because the Constitution allows the New Patriotic Party to continue to hold on to power as long as the good people of Ghana would give us. So there's nothing wrong about it.
But you lamented about the pettiness and the internal wrangling.
Absolutely.
Is that a threat to the breaking of the eight?
Well, there's no eight to be broken. And I've said it. The good people of this country has given us the mandate. Okay? The mandate is renewable every 4 years. We've gone for the first 4 years. They renewed it. We came in again. They renewed it. We would go in again, and I'm sure they will renew it. The only challenge here is that it's important that as a party, we close our ranks. And this is what I'm charging them to do.
At the same event, Regional Minister Henry Korte charged the supporters against comments which have the potential to threaten the party's quest in breaking the 8-year electoral cycle.
What you said today, you come face to face with it 2024 when you're in a position of defending the party. The Obeka and no opposition, they be year campaign. Normally they start campaign. Shena Anyawoya. Hello? Social media has become a platform for us to be insulting elders of the party. Social media. Yeah, Chirosa, yeah, Jaida. Oh, Mapa. We wash our dirty linens on the platform. Who catch your biso on your cry, party near Yedia. There has to be some discipline in the party. Discipline. Constituency chairman, you need to go back and instill discipline in the party. I have told the regional chairman, I have told the regional secretary, if people misbehave, suspend them. Okay, I'm a Bafite party and yes, suspend them. Replace them. By the grace of God, we shall soldier on. Name Mumshe. Now started to say one no kasa. Say by the time we get to that destination, we should arrive in peace and not in pieces. Muko do final destination no amunche. Na nkoye say yakodu aye muachichesa. Then you cannot break the 8s. You cannot continue. Shewa no kasa. Mind your language. Your power no, and you feel near copy. And to say I can who say power no now say no.
Meanwhile, General Secretary of the party, John Boydu, says it's in spite of the issues which affected the fortunes of the NPP in the last elections, he's confident the party will achieve its 2024 target.
I believe that, you know, the essence of this meeting. The essence is clearly to deliberate on matters that affect the party. And as part of the deliberation, we took stock of our performance in 2020. And clearly, we had 21 seats in 2020, before 2020 elections. We ended up with 14. We lost 7. And these reasons for the loss are not far to be found. We've done our own research and review of those constituencies, and we believe that with the admonition from leadership of the party, our party officers will understand that when a decision is taken, because out of the 7 that we lost, in 6 of those constituencies, we had primaries for our polling station executives, our electoral area coordinators, and our constituency executives to determine who, in their view, should be our candidates. But matters arising out of the primaries were not able to subside. So it is an admonition, and we believe that our party people will take it in good faith for us to come back home and work together to ensure victory for 2024.
But are this threatening the breaking of the 8th agenda by the NPP?
No. It is rather strengthening their resolve that never again are they going to carry out matters arising out of primaries to elections, and also be able to work together. Because I remember I was in the house in Adenta, then somebody came from Ablekuma Central to ask for school fees for the daughter. I said, it's because you voted skirt and blouse. If you had your MP there, you move from Ablekuma Central to Adenta for me to take care of your school fees. And I think that everybody in this party is seeing the effects of what they did, and I believe that is going to serve as a deterrent for all of us to make sure that we forgive ourselves when there are even challenges.
Let me take you to the Ashanti region now. The Swami police have arrested a man suspected of stabbing to death a 24-year-old man at Anumanje Wednesday. Emmanuel Owusu went into hiding after killing, allegedly, his friend in an altercation. Erastus Asaridonko reports the Swami police have been in the community since dawn, combing for leads that got him apprehended. The body of the deceased, Ebenezer Asare, has since been deposited at Cath Morgue for autopsy. Erastus Asaridonko has more.
This is Anumanye, close to Swami. And where we are standing now is close to the St. Joseph's Junior High School. This spot is where we are told the altercation between the suspect, Emmanuel Owusu, and the victim, Ebenezer Asare, ensued. We are told by eyewitnesses that when he was stabbed in the neck, right here, in a frenzy, he started running towards that end, and he fell inside the St. Joseph's Junior High School, and that is where they picked him and rushed him to the charity hospital, which is just across the street. Police mounted a search at dawn for suspect Emmanuel Owusu, who was later arrested, fleeing to Akomadan. Superintendent Emmanuel Esiama is Swami District Police Commander.
We had intelligence that the suspect, who is a native of Akomadan, was trying to run to hide himself. With the intelligence and assistance of the Kodia Police, suspect was arrested. As we speak, the suspect is behind bars for us to prepare our docket to send the suspect to court tomorrow morning.
The suspect was taken back to the crime scene to, among other things, retrieve the murder weapon. He told investigators he cannot identify what he used in stabbing the victim. Hundreds of artisans at the Swami Magazine enclave massed up at the crime scene and attempted to lynch the suspect. They allege this is the second time he's stabbing somebody. District Crime Officer ASP Osei Boatin and his men whisked him off to custody.
We anticipated that Magazine area is a hostile place, so we went there to assess the scene. That was where the crowd charged on us. They had wanted to take the suspect away from us and lynch him. We outwitted them, passed another place, and then we were able to rescue him.
The suspect is due in court on Friday. Reporting for Joy News, Erastus Asaridonko, Kumasi.
To the courts now, and a Takoradi Circuit Court has adjourned for another 4 weeks the case of a 27-year-old woman who allegedly faked her kidnapping in Takoradi, Josephine Penye Simmons, who also allegedly pretended to be pregnant for over 9 months, is expected to reappear in court on November 11, 2021. She was charged with deceiving public officers and publication of false news to put fear in the public. The accused person has pleaded not guilty to all the charges in her first appearance in court. Correspondent Nathalia Kwanzaa was there and our reports.
Today is the second court appearance for 27-year-old Josephine Simons Mensah. She appeared rejuvenated after joining her family. Seated among her family members in front of the court, looking all magnificent in a pink dress with her sneakers to match. One can tell Josephine looks healthier than when she appeared before the same court on the 27th of September. The case, which lasted for less than 10 minutes today, was adjourned because of the unavailability of the prosecution to provide some documents needed to start the case management conference. Also, the absence of the substantive prosecutor Superintendent Emmanuel Basintele contributed to the adjournment of the case. Lead counsel for the accused, lawyer Fifi Bachman, told the media after the hearing that the substantive prosecutor could not attend to court, so they had to send all documents back to him to look through because he is doing the prosecution.
Yeah, today we were coming for the prosecution to provide us with their documents which they intend to rely on for the trial. The law is that they have to disclose everything they intend to rely on. Their witnesses, their witness statements, the evidences they intend to rely on. So today they were to furnish us so that we will see that we have been furnished with these documents. Then we take a date to do our case management conference, or we do the case management conference today. Unfortunately, there are some documents which prosecution need to add. I do not know about that. That is what they told us. And the substantive prosecutor couldn't attend court. So we have to send all the documents back to him to look through because he's doing the prosecution so that he comes. So we have taken a date. The documents have been given back to them. They go and look through the documents. And the next time we come, on the next agenda date, we come and do the CMC if they serve us before we come to court. If they do not serve us before we come to court and they come and serve us on that day, we would have to take another date to go and do the CMC because we need to go through the documents to see that everything is in order.
Family of Josephine Simons Mensah walked away without a word to anyone after the hearing. For Joy News, in Athalia Kwanzaa, Takrade Circuit Court A.
Hope is eluding pupils of the Breman Jamra DA Basic School as help is yet to reach them for the reconstruction of their dilapidated school block, which has become a death threat. The current building in which they study has developed cracks. The roof is leaking and the classroom is overcrowded because a weaker portion had to be collapsed to prevent any disaster, forcing school authorities to cramp 2 classes into one space. Now, one of the pupils could not hold back his frustration as he opens up to Joy News during a visit to the school as part of the multimedia group's Classroom Project campaign.
This building has become dangerous and it can harm our life. It has happened before where a lot of people 6 people die at Matidi School. It has made it dangerous for us. Even when we are studying, we are worried because we don't know the time that it will break and kill us. That is why we want the government to help us and construct a new building for us. I think the building can collapse at any time and it can harm a lot of people. And this one also, and when this happens, it can lead to it can destroy a lot of people's studying and people education. When we are studying in class and we look around ourselves and a lot of cracks are in the building, we feel like not coming to school because how it has been. We don't know the time the building will collapse and something will happen to us. That is why when we look around ourselves, but we have comfortable in us that we'll achieve our aim and build this building if nobody mind us.
Be the miracle this people has been waiting for on the Classroom Project. For all your Momo transaction, the number is 05930388832 or the Access Bank account number 009010105491. The branch code is 009 and the SWIFT code is ABNGHAC. The Food and Drugs Authority in the northern region is calling for the strengthening of border security. According to the authority, interventions against the smuggling of contraband drugs into the country have become ineffective due to the porous borders. They made the following call following a surveillance exercise that led to the confiscation of dozens of contraband drugs from several licensed chemical shops in Wale in the northeast region. Regional Director of the authority, Martin Kusi, who is leading the exercise, explained it was part of measures to eliminate fake pharmaceutical products and ensure consumer protection. Correspondent Ilyasu Tanko reports.
Stein FDA operation started here at Bimsi. The officials arrived at this over-the-counter store sited near the community market and owned by native staff of the Nalirgu Baptist Medical Center. The officials found in stock several packs of falsified drugs, including this painkiller Really Extra, a falsified drug sourced to India but smuggled from Nigeria and Benin. He was also found to have been rendering illegal services against the pharmaceutical license policy for OTC operators. For example, he was found to be operating in the premises of the community chips compound. His operation has led to the almost collapse of the chips facility, as the unsuspecting community members no longer patronize its services. He was also caught operating his chemical store as a full health facility with a separate room for admission and treatment.
You see, you are admitting people here. If somebody dies here, what will you do? Huh?
When confronted with the evidence found in his store, the operator, who had earlier denied having and selling contraband drugs, remorsefully admitted and attempted to bribe the officials.
Carry your money away. I said carry your money away. I think I have to give you to the police. Yes. You're trying to bribe the police. I'm not trying to bribe you. What are you doing? What is this money for?
The drama continued as the operator invited community members to help him beg after he failed to bribe the officials.
But you don't deliberately before.
The officials, however, refused to budge and confiscated multiple boxes full of fake drugs into a waiting pickup vehicle. The operation continued in Wulugu, Pasingpe, and ended in the municipal capital Wale. Most of the operators could not produce proper receipt for the fake drugs, which they said were sold to them by dealers in Boko, Bolga, and Tamale. The operation was led by the regional head of the Food and Drugs Authority, Martin Kusi, who spoke to Joy News after the exercise.
So Pharmacy Council will have to come in and then deal with the lapses in the practice. Then the FDA will also have to deal with him as far as the contrabands are concerned. So he will be invited, and then we together with Pharmacy Council will sit down and then make sure that the appropriate sanctions are meted out to him.
According to the authority, most of these unlicensed drugs are being smuggled into the country from Nigeria through the numerous unapproved routes. He has therefore called on the Northeast Regional Security Council to step up efforts to ensure enhanced security at the various borders in order to cut the illegal supply chain of the smuggling of contraband drugs into the area.
The strengthening of the border security is under the purview of the Regional Coordinating Council. So, of course, when we meet him, we will suggest some of the interventions that can be put, out there in order to forestall some of this illegality, to make sure that most of these products are prevented from entering, into our border post. As I said, the Food and Drugs Authority is also planning to have a station at Bompurugu border post. Very soon, I hope by 2021, early 2022, we'll have a border post at Bompurugu to make sure that some of these things will not enter, the border. But the point is, we cannot prevent, because the borders are porous. Most people use unapproved routes. So what we have to do is to make sure that we intensify our market surveillance activity. That is to make sure that very often we go to the market, to the chemical sellers, to make sure that if they have any contraband, quickly we'll just pick them from the shops.
The officials will later meet with authorities at the Regional Health Directorate and the chairman of the Regional Security Council to brief them about the exercise. Ilyasu Tanko reporting.
Please, you are just like my father.
This is Johnny's Prime with me, Ernest Mino. We're taking a break. When we return, Charles will bring you some more business stories. Stay with us.
Hello, my name is Nathaniel ATTOH. You can catch up with all the fun and inspiration on the Joy Sports link here on Joy 99.7 FM, together with all other shows over and over again. It's very simple. All you need to do is go to myjoyonline.com/podcast and relive all of those fun moments over and over again. Joy 99.7 FM, your radio for discerning listeners.
Joy 99.7.
In business, cybersecurity will now be a benchmark for assessing the performance of state-owned enterprises. That's according to Director General of the State Interest and Governance Authority, Stephen Asamoah Boateng, speaking at a workshop on the Cybersecurity Act 2020. The chief executives of the state-owned institutions, Mrs. Asamoah Boateng, said his outfit is bent on working with SOEs to protect their information against cyber attacks. We have more in this report.
Ghana's new Cybersecurity Act creates awareness on cybercrime trends while building capacity on cybersecurity among Ghanaians. As part of this year's National Cybersecurity Awareness Month, chief executives of state-owned institutions have been entreated to be proactive in dealing with issues of cybercrimes. Speaking to Joy Business, Mr. Asamoah Boateng said CEOs and workers of state-owned institutions stand to lose their bonuses when they do not deal with cybersecurity issues properly.
Every criteria we bring for our assessment in terms of performance monitoring and evaluation where the contracts are signed, if you fail to adhere to it, it's suffer. And I mentioned even one little aspect of the bonuses. You see, I know how people operate. If you hit them in the pocket, they behave quickly. So if it's a bonus, their salary, I can't cut their salary. But even there, if you misbehave and the criteria, you'll be punished. There are penalties in the law of SIGA. The same thing, there are penalties in this act. So if they don't adhere to the rules and they don't protect themselves and they don't listen, and it's part of the criteria we use to assess them, yes, they will have penalty. They will suffer penalties.
On engagement with the private sector, Mr. Asamoah Boateng was of the view that the sector has been responsive and ready to work collectively with the state to ensure a secure and resilient digital economy.
Actually, they started even earlier, even before the act came in. You know, private people are always looking after their profits quickly than the public in a way that we are not happy. And that's why my office is also trying to catch up with the private sector in some ways. But so they started something. But this is a new law, a new act. And so if you look at the functions of the act, it talks about private sector participation. So I am in touch with the gentleman called Ernest de Graft Ejiri, who normally runs the CEO Summit, and that involves private sector business people. And so we are collaborating on that and bring the private sector people on board into this kind of cybersecurity sector operations. The key thing is for us to work together, because if it hits the private sector, it's Ghanaians who suffer. If it hits the private sector, it's the Ghanaians who suffer. So we have to come together, and we are working. So me and Nigeria are also working on this matter.
The new act seeks to develop national capacity, deter cybercrime, and strengthen cybersecurity cooperation. James Eshen's report for Joy Business.
Now, traders at the KJT market in Kumasi have resolved to suspend the payment of all levies until issues with electricity tariffs are resolved. The traders reached the agreement at a general meeting Thursday morning. For about 5 hours on Wednesday, the market was without electricity as the power company disconnected supply over non-payment of bills. Monalisa Frimpong has more in the following report.
I am here at the KJT market, and yesterday this place was plunged into darkness following the ECG's decision to cut off power supply to most shops. And today the traders are demonstrating, and what they say is the management of this particular facility have been unfair to them and they do not involve them when taking decisions.
Traders at the KJT market have clamored for the installation of meters for each shop as they complain of high electricity charges. The market operates a centralized metering system, which the traders are not in support of.
I have not sold at my shop for some time, but I owe over 4,200 cedis. How do I work and pay? Individuals selling at the canteen are paying 2,500 in a month. We are charged whenever there is fumigation exercise in the market.
For about 4 months, traders have refused to pay the electricity charges in protest to access their own meters. The outstanding electricity bills amount to close to 400,000 Ghana cedis. On Wednesday, the Electricity Company of Ghana disconnected power to the market. Power was restored following an intervention of the Kumasi Mayor, SAMMY. Leader of Concerned Kejitia Traders Association, Frank Enchi, says they will withdraw payment of all levies.
8,000 or 7,800 shops here have only 1 meter. And we started to find our way for individual meters for some times. But still, it doesn't come. That's why we decided to stop paying premium. And yesterday, ECG came here to disconnect our light. So we decided to meet here to talk to our people that we are still in stand of stop paying the premium and other service charges until the leaders bring the meters to us.
Currently, leaders of the Kejitia market traders are in a meeting with the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly, and they say that if the issues are not resolved, the worst they can do is to hit the streets and hawk, just like the other traders. From Kumasi for Joy News, Mona Lisa Frimpong reporting.
Now, the Ghana Developing Communities Association, in partnership with the Gushegu Municipal Assembly, has built a modern livestock market with auxiliary facilities in Gushegu in the northern region. The project, which was expected to be executed by the Community Life Improvement Program with funding from the Acting for Life, is aimed at boosting the production of quality livestock and the creation of markets for the supply of animals. Northern Regional Correspondent Martina Bogri has filed this report.
The market, which began operation in April, was constructed at a cost of 512,000 Ghana cedis and expected to boost livestock production in the eastern corridor of the northern region. It is also expected to increase the revenue mobilization of the assembly and help resolve conflict between herdsmen and farmers. Speaking at the commissioning of the project, the chairman of the DDCA, Dr. Al-Hassan Osman, said the market would increase revenue, which will translate into development of the area.
The livestock market in Gusau is probably one of the highest sources of internal generated revenue to the Municipal Assembly to support development projects in the area. It is for this reason that DDCA, in collaboration with the Gusau Municipal Assembly, provided an amount of 511,184.28 pesos for the construction of this magnificent livestock market and auxiliary facilities here in Gusau. We have no doubt that this important market facility will boost livestock trade and economic development in the eastern corridor of Ghana.
The Deputy Minister for Agriculture, Alhaji Hadi Tufero, said there is a huge potential market for the livestock sector.
I wish to draw your attention to the fact that trade between countries in the sub-region is estimated to generate over $73.5 million US annually from the livestock and cereals alone, and creates more than 20 million jobs. This shows that there's a huge potential for international trade within the sub-region, especially within the area of the African Continental Free Trade Area. The Gushegu area is no doubt a strategic livestock production and marketing zone in the eastern corridor of Ghana, where multiple actors in the livestock value chain converge to do businesses to earn decent livelihood
Executive Director of the Acting for Life, Benrad Labelle, said revenue of the assembly has increased considerably since the operationalization of the market.
This discourse does not highlight the positive benefits that are drawn from livestock mobility for local communities. The market here in Bouchegou is a perfect example. Prior to construction, GDCI worked together with the Assembly and the Market Committee to clarify the governance of the market and ensure transparency of the market revenues. The chief transferred to the local community the land for the market use and the local community. Delegated the management to the Market Committee.
And that'll be it for business. We have sports coming up this day.
Hi, this is Lexus Bill, host of Drive Time on Joy 99.7 FM. Listen, you don't have to worry if you miss Drive Time or Personality Profile. It's going to be live on our podcast page. Just log on to www.myjoyonline.com/podcast. You can listen to Drive Time, Personality Profile, and any other of your favorite shows on Joy FM on that page. You don't have to miss a show at all. Joy 99.7 FM, radio for discerning listeners.
Well, welcome to the second part of the sports segment with me, Oreku Ampofo, and we'll begin with table tennis as we talk about the GTTA Women's Open, and it will be taking place at the Accra Sports Stadium this weekend. And joining me in studio is Mauko Afajinu. It's a pleasure to have you, Mauko.
My delight.
Yeah, first off, we've seen a lot of, table tennis tournaments focusing on either male or mixed, male and female, but this one is solely on female. Can you explain the rationale behind that?
It's pretty unique. So, in this neighborhood, let me tell you a bit of history. In this neighborhood, 2 streets behind, there used to be a legend called Hatramani. Hatramani is known as the doyen and the father of table tennis in Ghana. And during his time, under his watch, Ghana was on top of the table tennis calendar in Africa. So much so that countries like Nigeria, when they needed people, they had to come to Ghana and steal our stars. And it was primarily the women that produced a lot of the talent. We want to go back to that quality. And so the focus here is to give our women the biggest opportunity for them to thrive, for them to excel, and for them to be able to perform at the highest levels. This is focused on our ladies because that is our richest talent pool. Not to say we are forgetting the men, but this is for the women.
And you look at such a tournament, if you look long term, what do you think would be the role of such a tournament in terms of the development of table tennis as a whole in Ghana?
So when I look long term, I see a certain concentration and focus which is necessary, which is a core ingredient in the rejuvenation of the ladies' game. And that is what we get in, because our target was to get 50 ladies play. Already we are on the upside of 60, we are north of 60, which speaks to the fact that there is very heavy interest and enthusiasm. We also believe that for the women's game to flourish, it's very important that we put a base of education beneath it. So one of the things we're doing, the ladies who are going to stand out, especially for the juveniles, for the cadet, those are the under 12. So we have 2 categories. We have the under 12 and we have the open for everybody else. There'll be scholarships, educational scholarships that we are arranging for them. The idea is that, number 1, we are going to give the women the space for them to discover themselves. Number 2, we are going to give them the support for them to flourish. Number 3, we are going to let them be the best they can be in every space they find themselves in, including winning laurels for Ghana. Our aim is that come next year, we have the Commonwealth Games. For us, it's foundational. Come 2 years' time, there is the All-African Games. And if the African Games comes to Ghana, we should be able to get some women champions out of what we are doing.
And to wrap up, will there be any side events or side attractions on
You
the day?
have to be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. We did the Youth Discovery Championship 2 weeks ago and the place was jam-packed. You have to be there. You have to come and see the ladies play. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to see so much flair. We're going to see so much fervor. We're going to see so much fantastic play. So you have to be there. And we're encouraging all the girls, come and play. Even if you are not able to play, come and see other girls play. Of course, legends, our legends, some of our legends, women legends will be there. And grandmom ATTOH Jacks, who won the African Championship, is going to be there. There are going to be a lot of faces. So come and be inspired. Come and commit yourself to a game that does a lot of good for your brain, for your agility, for your dexterity, and for your ability to thrive in different environments. Table tennis is the game.
All right. Thank you very much. And we just spoke to Mawoko Afajinu, who's the president of the Ghana Table Tennis Association. And he spoke of the GTTA Women's Open Tennis Tournament, Table Tennis Tournament, which takes place at the Hatramani Hall at the Accra Sports Stadium this Saturday. But from table tennis, let's move to rugby, where a board member of the African Rugby, that's Herbert Mensah, underscored the importance of the media in development of the sport on the continent. The Ghana Rugby president was speaking during the inaugural Media and Photography Awards, and Joy Sports' Asari Bediako has the rest of the story.
Herbert Mensah, Head of Communication and Finance of Rugby Africa, has lauded the continent's governing body for rewarding winners in the 2021 Media and Photography Awards. The competition was open to journalists and photographers who have remarkably captured the love for the game on and off the field. John Batanude of Uganda and Kenya's Dave Moara were adjudged winners. They both took home a $1,500 prize money. Ghana Rugby President Herbert Mensah was part of the jury panel chaired by World Rugby Chairman Sir Bill Beaumont.
Rugby Africa is not only bringing fresh thinking, but we're also building a better working world with smart technology and promoting rugby across the African continent. Through this, we are leading digital innovation in a much needed area, sports. It is worthy to note that Rugby Africa has thus far impacted thousands of lives, and these people are in some ways part of the game, with many more to come. I take this opportunity to congratulate Rugby Africa's inaugural media and photography winners. All the names, I believe, have already been put out there. Your outstanding work in the field of sports reporting is exemplary, and I hope you will continue to set ablaze the trail in Africa and beyond.
The 2021 Rugby Africa Media and Photography Awards seeks to honor journalists and photographers who, through their works, have promoted the sport in every corner of the continent.
Well, that's how we wrap up the sport here. My name is Oriku Ampofo.
And that's it for our package tonight. Many thanks for your company. Please log on to myjournline.com. You'll find many stories there. My name is Ernest Mino. Up next is PM Express, the business edition. Stay with us.